Confirmation bias is an ugly thing. We all succumb to it, whether you're a teacher, a coach, a bro on YouTube. It's easy to just seek out the information that supports your own idea. And in the case of football players, a player that you've got a really good assessment of, you tend to ignore the negatives and point out the positives. When it comes to a player that you might be skeptical of or you're negative on, you really hammer it when you see the negatives because, you see, supports everything I've ever said about the guy. And I do think that in my first appraisal of Davis Mills, after his very good performance the other night versus the Bears, I think I was a little too skeptical. And I think I let some of the negative plays weigh a little too heavily on me. I want to go back through his plays from the other night and point out some of the really, really good things he did. And honestly, some very good and valid excuses for a few of his bad plays, and he didn't have many. But I'm starting to feel that this is a different version of Davis Mills than we've seen now that he's in his second year in this system. When we talk about executing this system, there was a lot of pre-snap motion in this first drive, maybe just about every single snap.
From the 40, fake down. A handoff and off the hands of Hutchinson.
It's a high throw to Xavier Hutchinson. He was going the right place with the ball. And I think this is still a negative play by Davis. But Aikman later says that it wasn't his fault on that play. I don't know. I think it was a little bit high. Some of the balls were a little high tonight. The fact is, a lot of them were still complete.
No expectations for the Houston Texans whatsoever.
Here is a pass, bobbled but caught last year.
That was just bing, bang, boom. The way it's drawn up is the way it went. So this ends up being the play that he tries to dish off to Skoranek.
7.
Everything's nice and clean.
Play.
As expected,
Action.
as constructed. And I think look, he sees how much cushion that defensive back had gotten. You want to put the ball in the hands of your receiver, the better athlete. He just delayed a little bit, and I don't know if Skoranek, by the timing of the play, if Skoranek should have kept extending his route further or whatever it was. It was more awkward on television, especially on the replay.
Mills just drops it down, and the pass is
so in the preseason especially, I'm willing to chalk that up to just not quite being on the same page, even though he had a nice connection with Skoranek in this game.
Made this a relatively
pre-snap motion,
manageable third down had he have run the ball.
Troy there was saying that, it would have been a manageable third down if he had run the ball. I think probably not making the decision earlier in the down was the mistake on that one.
Third down and 7. Agunbowale trying to pick up the first.
It's a good, smart check down. It didn't seem like it was when all he wanted to do was throw the ball to Rex Burkhead. That just seemed like that seemed like the right play to go with, obviously, by virtue of where Agunbowale ended up.
Down, and he's regular season, and you get these opportunities in preseason to work on short yardage type areas of your football team. Just comes.
So fourth down, less than 1.
Okay, we talk about executing the offense. Short yardage comes up, quick snap. I know it doesn't seem like the biggest deal in the world, but he pulled off a lot of this little stuff without a hitch the entire night.
They hand to Agunbowale, and he's got the first down.
Injuries, which
shout out to Kenyon Green and Juice Scruggs, who I thought showed a lot more coordination, timing, knowledge of the offense than we would have seen maybe even 2 weeks ago.
Was able to accomplish last year.
On first down,
this one too, if you watch at the bottom, John Mechie clears this out. It's the first read, and it's just a well-executed throw.
On first down, this one is caught, and that is
This is the old dude in me. These jet sweeps with a quick turnaround, watch the precision that this takes. It seems simple and stupid, but it always impresses me nonetheless.
But help give them a little depth at tight end.
Here's Hutchinson on the handoff, a nice pickup, and he put together by Davis.
And Hutchinson obviously had a very good night.
Yeah, this is. He's been very poised in the pocket. He's not tried to force any throws down the field. The one ball that was incomplete earlier on this drive.
Listening to Troy.
Drive to Hutchinson was a well-thrown ball off play action.
Yeah, I don't know if that ball was well thrown. But again, Troy, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt here, Troy. Will you shut up? Okay, this is the play.
No handoff, and Davis Mills gets dumped.
So immediately afterwards, I'm thinking, all right, well, I guess I'll blame the captain of the ship. And I wasn't like crushing Mills for this or anything, but
By Kareem.
poorly executed play. How much is the quarterback responsible for it? I don't think at all. If this is supposed to be an option play and or at least an option look on this, he's going to need to put the ball in the belly of the running back.
Kareem
But
was there.
the snap is off to his left, and so he can't fake it to Skoranek.
And this
I think instead of trying to turn to his right, which would have completely botched the timing of this, this may have been his best option because the play was already screwed as soon as the snap was off. The timing was going to be off.
an early
And at that point, he's just dead in the water. You know, obviously, if he had the option to give the ball with the correct timing, or if he had tried to force the handoff there when everything had already gotten screwed, that could have been disastrous.
season
So I'll give him credit for it, plus taking a pretty big thump right there. I'll actually give him credit for keeping that play from turning into an absolute disaster.
decent pocket.
Yes,
This one floated
yes.
for a Gumbawale and a Matt Eberflus.
This was nice because if you look at Gumbawale, he's got that cushion between himself and the sideline. So Davis is placing the ball appropriately to the outside of a Gumbawale. He was definitely held on that play, and they call this, so it ends up being a positive play.
Young linebacker,
But also from where he was, if he hadn't been held,
a lot of jerk
like that ball's using that extra space.
on that trip down the field.
So with no hold right there, I think that ends up being a really well-placed football.
That was an easy one. The official right there. You see the grab. We saw it from up here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that's a touchdown.
4 and beyond. 13th play of this drive.
Here you
Mills, good protection underneath. Touchdown,
Nice.
Texans.
His first option over there was a ball that I think a young Davis Mills may have tried to force.
Davis Mills. He starts to his left. He
bides his time.
And he didn't like the throw that he had there to his left side. He gets through his progression, comes back to his tight end. Just really well done to cap off this drive to open up
And I think
the game with a touchdown. What a
you're seeing the benefit of him having worked with a few of these guys for 2 or more seasons.
Drive it is. 13 plays, 74 yards, and basically 6.5 minutes off the clock.
He would be a coach. Like, he had that about him. You know, he can get guys lined up. He can get guys to put us around.
Pre-snap motion with Harrison.
Congratulations to him. Well deserved. And I know D'Amico Ryans is so excited the Texans are here and that he's here to witness it.
Good move here by Davis Mills. Buys some time, and he's able to find a receiver down to the 40. That's Skoranek.
Look, Skoranek's been doing this all camp, and I'll give Davis Mills credit for, getting himself out of harm's way enough to make the throw. And it was a high throw, sure, but it's to a guy that can make the catch.
Pressure, but Mills.
And right there, if you're running a naked boot, usually you want to know for sure that defensive end has been biting hard the whole time. Later on, in a similar situation, they would have Stover stay in and block that defensive end. So I don't know if this was a bust by Stover on this play, but I think it might have just genuinely been a naked boot. The defensive end just played disciplined football and didn't bite on it. And Mills did a very, very nice job making something of this play.
Went right around him.
Well, he does a great job. You're right, Hart.
That and right there just went around him and had the presence of mind to plant his feet with pressure in his face, make a really nice throw downfield.
Hardy, nobody picks him up at all. They're thinking the play fake is going to drive.
No, and that was calm, cool, and collected.
And then finds a big play on that last one.
Here's
Okay, though, no.
a dangerous throw. Davis Mills, as this one almost went back the other way. He's smart.
I think it was a bad enough throw that it didn't almost go back the other way. I wonder if there was a little bit of doubt that crept into his mind as he was making this throw.
As this one
If you look at it, looks open there.
Almost
Sims looks wide
went
open.
back the other-
Doesn't look as open as the ball would have been coming
the
out.
way.
Now, I can't go there and say that he intentionally threw it out of bounds or anything.
He's smart. He went to Stanford. He's a guy that
Okay, that's enough. All right.
can run the
Listen, I went to a smart kid school too, and I did some stupid stuff on a football field. Can it with the Stanford talk. Davis is going to make it on his own with or without a Stanford degree, okay?
I did like him when he was earlier in his career and some of the things that he was able to do.
Under pressure,
Here's Hutchinson.
makes the
and
throw to
he was
Hutchinson the right way that time.
covered.
I don't know why that video got glitchy.
As Mills protected, Agunbowale's got a first down.
didn't even realize until later he'd been shot in his right thigh. The bullet went through and through. He spent the night.
I don't like that I know the term through and through. You know this. Stop talking about the through and through.
2nd down and 9 here. Play action from Mills out to his right.
This, you guys are going to really know that the confirmation bias was creeping in. I had actually gotten frustrated with him on this play, and I'll tell you why after we see it.
Tuck it and...
Okay. That little bit of hesitation before he ran out of bounds, my mind flashed back to that game a couple of years ago when Davis Mills just stopped on the sideline for no reason at all and just got crushed in the ear hole. Okay, pump fake. Oh, go. All right, go. Send him down. You can't throw it. Okay, stay in bounds. Boom. Look, people were complaining about that not being a flag. Watch it. And because of that confirmation bias creeping in, I thought, oh, he almost did it again. I go, no, I got to give him credit for not doing it. I think maybe he had the inclination for whatever reason to do it again, but he's learned his lesson by a very physical negative reinforcement 2 years ago not to do that again. He ran out of bounds, didn't take the hit.
They bring in Stephon Diggs.
Okay, this is going to look like no big deal when you look at just the reception, but look at what's going on. He's got the blitz in his face. And he understands to throw into the teeth of the blitz because you throw into the vacuum of where that blitzer came from.
And that's a great wide receiver
there he goes.
room for sure.
Instead of a sack for a 7-yard loss, nice little gain. They kick a field goal, and there you go. So honestly, a much better performance than I wanted to give Davis Mills credit for, and I think he has come a long way being in this system for 2 straight years. I know the pre-snap motion shouldn't sound like a big deal, but it is all part of just executing this offense, understanding where to go with the ball, all the things that you hope to get out of your backup quarterback. You know, last year he was 2nd on the depth chart the whole season until they had to actually play a backup quarterback, and then they went with Case Keenum. I think the coaching staff has good reason to feel more comfortable with him right now. However, I am not above, if offered a juicy tidbit of a draft pick to trade him, I do think that, man, if he plays this well for another couple games and they get a really nice deal from a team that lost their starting quarterback, Case is still there. And you can feel comfortable with Case, but I'm a little bit less inclined with him. He's not reached Kyle Tucker level of untouchable, don't get me wrong, but that's one of the most valuable things you can have is a backup quarterback, not just because you want to win some games when your starter goes down, but because, hey, every now and then somebody gets desperate. So good job to Davis Mills. I apologize for being initially too bound to my preconceptions. That's a bad coaching, teaching / YouTube bro job, and hopefully we'll see more of this over the next few weeks.